Okay, this is a tutorial on taking images from your camera, from your hard drive to into WordPress and into the slider here. So first thing that you want to do is you want to shrink the image down. So images that are from a camera are pretty big, and we want to scale them down. So if you have some software that you could use for scaling, if you have Photoshop, if you're familiar with that, or Fireworks, or even a paint program of some kind, that would be a good thing to do. And this slider, for images like this that are more horizontal, more rectangular than vertical, we'll want to shrink the image down to about 700 pixels wide. So you can upload images into WordPress that are bigger, but if you do that, it's going to slow your website down. They really need to be smaller images before you upload them into WordPress. That would, especially if you have a lot, that'll help. So I happen to be using a piece of software for resizing called Fast Stone Photo Resizer, and you can go into Google and type that in and find it and download it. I don't know if they have Mac versions, but this is the PC version. And what this does is you can perform different operations on images like resizing and cropping and all kinds of things. But it's nice because you can do it on multiple images and not just one. So if you have a bunch of images you need to shrink down, this is a good piece of software to use. So, excuse me, on this side are all the images that I'm going to work with. You can select on your computer different areas that you want to go to, and this I already happen to be in the area I want to be in. So I think what we're going to do is I think I'm going to work on this image right here. And as you'll notice, this image is 3000 pixels by 2000, and we want to convert that down to about 700. And so that's going to make a really big difference on the size. You can kind of tell how huge these pictures are compared to a website. So what we need to do here is I want to push the image over here. This is the work area. So I selected my image. I'm going to click Add, and it puts it over here. And I could add multiple images in here if I wanted to, but right now we're just going to work on this one. You have to create a you have to tell it where you want the output folder, where it's going to write the resized file to. So you could pick your desktop if you wanted to. I have a desktop right here. I could do that. It might be easier, but in my case, I'm just going to save it to this path right here. Now, in the advanced options, I'm going to tell it to resize. So on the resize tab, I've already told it to resize, and to make it easier, I'm going to resize based on one side of the image. So I'm going to go ahead and resize it according to the width only, and I'm going to make it 700 pixels. It's automatically going to adjust the height of it, so I don't have to worry about that. And now here's another reason why I'm using this program. There is a watermark tab on here, and what it will do is it will put this predefined watermark that I've created. I created this in a paint program, and it will basically paste that in front of in front of the image, and I'll show you why that's important in a little bit. So when it goes through and creates this image, scales the image, I would rather keep the original image and then save it to a new file name, the scaled down version into a new file name, because I don't want to erase the original one. So I've told it to rename it, and so it's going to add the words underscore gallery slider on the end of it. So it's going to be DSC05589 underscore gallery slider, and that way I can keep my original image. So I pretty much have everything set. So all I have to do is just hit convert, and it'll go ahead and convert it. And as you can see, the old size of the file was 2.3 megs, and the new one is about 10 times less. That's a really nice savings right there in space. I'm going to hit done. And so now on this tab here, I've logged into the WordPress site, and I'm using, for the slider, this particular slider is a plugin called MetaSlider Lite. So I installed it through the plugins area of WordPress. So you just do a search for it and install it. And so if I want to add that picture to the slider, I would hit Add Slide, and it's going to bring up the files that are on the server already. And none of these, of course, are the image that I just changed, so I'm going to upload this image. And I already have it set in here to go to the directory where I saved this smaller image, and here it is right here. And you'll notice it put the name underscore gallery slider on the end of it. That gives me an idea of what I created that image for. So I'm going to upload it. And there it shows me the image is uploaded, and now I'm going to say, and it's check marked, so I'm going to add that to the slider. And what it did is it added it to the bottom of the slider here. I could put a caption in for it if I wanted, and then a link to wherever I would want, if somebody clicks on this picture, I could put a link to where that would go. Since this is a demo, I'm not going to really put a link in there. Now, if you wanted to rearrange the images in here, you could hold down your left, you could put your mouse on the image someplace, you could hold down the left mouse button, and while you're holding it down, you could move it. And I could, if I put the mouse up here and wiggle it back and forth, it'll scroll up. So at least we could see what this looks like. And then I can let go. And I'm going to save these changes that I've made, which is down here. I'm going to save. Okay, and I'm going to refresh the page here. And there you go. There's the image that's in there. You can see the caption that I typed in is test, so I could type anything in there, and you'll notice that the arrow doesn't change to a hand. It means I can't click on anything. I did not put a link in. I did not put a link in there, so there's no place for it to go. But if I did put a link in here, it would do that. Now you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of images in here, and it's showing them. It's showing the images one at a time, starting from the beginning. Which is, a little bit boring, but you could configure this slider to randomly show the images. So it's this random checkbox here, and I could click it and hit save, and once that's done, I can go here and hit refresh, and the very first image is not going to be this image again. It's going to be, whatever image it decides to load randomly. I can hit refresh again, and it'll do that again. Pick a different one. So that's kind of a nice feature of it. You can go to different images by clicking on the arrows. And one other thing about the slider, if I wanted to delete an image out of the list of images, I could go up here, and if I put my cursor on here, it'll come up with this little X, and I go up here and hit the left mouse button, and it says, am I sure? And I say OK, and it'll take that out of there. And that's how you delete images. It does not delete images from WordPress, but it does delete the image out of the slider. So the image is still in the system. So that's basically it. So thanks for watching.